There's a realization for lots of business owners. There's a point where they have all of the hassle and none of the benefit. Their focus can get dragged into the grind of managing and taken away from the inspiration that made them do what they want to do. You should be beyond it, but you're not. You're getting dragged back into it. No one's in the office later than I am. No one's working on a weekend like I am. And yet look at the salary bill that's going out the door every month. Well, no one gets pleasure from that. What people want is that sense of joy that can come from, I'm absolutely achieving what I wanted to achieve for my business, for my family, for my longer term goals. But you can't quite see the wood for the trees and you don't quite know where to go next. What people often do is they go after the stuff that feels exciting. Investing in their sales team, going to a conference somewhere, a rebrand. But so often it's papering over the cracks. You can probably survive like that for a period of time. But if you want more, if you really want to push on, if you know that you're capable of more, if you have that vision, then it's not going to be enough. Either the business will completely fail, or you will lose interest in it to such an extent that it will then subsequently fail because it just doesn't have your passion in it anymore. The lifeblood just drains out of that business. Starts to become more of a challenge to pay the wage bill each month. Starts to become more of a challenge to pay yourself. Clients start to complain. You compromise quality. It just ekes away. It ekes away, and probably quite slowly, but it's going to happen. What's at the heart of it? Probably the single hardest thing to recognize as a business owner is that it's you that's holding it back. I promise you that you do not have the level of financial knowledge to take your business forward and drive it to where you want it to. Quite frankly, it'd be really weird if you did. Your gut instinct that's taken you so far, without specialist insight and knowledge, will stagnate. And it often takes that external impetus to give the clarity about the impact of what you're doing. Big businesses for a long time have recognized the value of having external, independent, high-level resource that reviews what's going on in their business and contributes to strategic level decision making, non-executive directors. What's happened across the SME business world is almost a leveling up of that playing field. So technology now enables us and empowers us to do the same thing. Ultimately, it's the fact that as a business, you can punch above your weight in investing in high-level capability on a part-time basis. You are able to assemble a team that will take you to a height that you would never have achieved 20 years ago because you were caught up in employing someone full-time and the fact that they needed to be sat in the office, and therefore by definition they're getting dragged down in the problems of the business. What you need is the person that is going to enjoy and thrive on wading through information to pick out the stuff that's really going to make a difference. It's not the reconciliation of every single accounting entry ever. What we're talking about is the ability to look at the page of numbers and spot the one thing. Spot the thing that's wrong, or happy days if it's the thing that is driving and boosting performance and we just need to turn that dial up. There's then a second element to this that is even rarer, and that is the ability to translate that one thing into terms that you understand, so that you can go out of the room and you can start to take action. You can start to drive through the things that will result in that financial uptick. Instantly, if you make the right fractional hire, you'll have a natural sense of relief. You don't have to do it on your own anymore. It's not all about you. it unlocks the power of decision making that you never could have anticipated going into that relationship. If we go down this path, this is where it's going to lead to. If we go down this path, this is where it's going to lead to. You suddenly have the sense of freedom that is why you started that business in the first place. And you've probably not had it for quite a long time. You can take a real step back. It's not for everyone. You can go on holiday, 6 times a year. You can go base yourself abroad for the winter. You can spend your time on the golf course. You can be there to pick up your kids. You can only go into the office 2 days a week. Equally, what you can do is take that time and that freedom and go, do you know what? No, I've always wanted to do this as well. Start another business. Or you can expand your business in a way in which you never thought possible. Does anyone grow up dreaming of being an accountant? No, I didn't. I grew up dreaming of being a footballer. When I realised that I wasn't good enough to be a footballer, I actually went and studied law at uni, and then I realised I wasn't going to be a lawyer either. And I'd always been pretty good at maths, but I loved business. So I started a graduate scheme. So 3 years later, I was a chartered management accountant. I can really clearly remember a point in time when I was working in a massive corporate environment. I had been asked to take a group of senior leaders in the business and effectively put forward the financial case as to why we were doing the things that we were doing. I'd pulled it together. I was comfortable that I knew what I was talking about, but I didn't expect it to have the impact and the power that it had. A whole load of people in the business suddenly turn around and go, now we get why this guy is here. Now we get why we're doing what we're doing. The next phase of the journey really kicked in when I had a conversation with a potential client and they described what they were looking for as a growth CFO. They were looking to turbocharge their business and take it to the next level. And that lit another fire in me. I was like, I get this. I can see how I can add value to this journey. And from that moment forward, I would talk to people about helping businesses to scale and to grow. And that became my singular focus. Oh, I love it. It's like a drug, I think, for me. You do your best work when you're excited, when you're invigorated. You bring your A game when you really want to be somewhere, when you really want to be part of it. Ultimately, my role is all about helping you to achieve what you define as success in your business. So I do that in 5 ways: goals, customers, systems, decisions, and insights. Goals underpin everything. I go straight to the end point. If we're not making decisions today that take us towards achieving our end goal, we're wasting time. And we're potentially damaging our ability to get there. It doesn't mean that we can't vary our approach over time, but I want to know up front, right here, right now, what's absolute success look like for you? And from that, we can work everything else back. So often, your profitability and your value comes from a subset of your customers. And so we will really hone in on what it is about those customers and where that value comes from, because that then drives everything else in terms of the type of customer or client that you're looking for. There's usually as well some surprises in there where you go, oh, I never really saw them as massively value adding. And so the more value creating customers that we can attract and lose those that use a disproportionate amount of resource, the natural impact is that we become more profitable, that we drive every ounce of value out of our customer base. And that's where systems kick in, because at the same time as all this focus on the front end, on the value creation, what we don't want is a leaky bucket. So we need structure and systems and processes that mean that we can leverage all of this opportunity that we're identifying in as low a risk way as possible. You don't want to waste effort, you don't want to waste resource. And we can only do that if we have the right structure and the right systems in place. And that then massively empowers us to make decisions quickly, effectively, and in as low a risk environment as possible. And then all of a sudden, what will have felt like massive decisions historically just become the norm. We do it with comfort, we do it with regularity, and we shift the level of decision making that we're able to make effectively, and therefore the time frame that it takes us to do it. We remove inertia, and we're suddenly a much more nimble organisation who's able to access and leverage opportunity in a way that we never could before. And that leads us to the power of insight. And this is where it's the real secret sauce, I guess. We will definitively unlock somewhere between 3 and 5 metrics that underpin the success of your business. And they won't necessarily be the ones that you thought they were. I don't just roll out the same playbook of the same measures. They change, they adapt, they have to be the right metrics for your business where you are now, and crucially, where you're trying to get to. What are those leading indicators that will tell us whether we're on the right path to achieve your goals? As a business owner, I think you've got to really challenge yourself and ask yourself what you really, really want. Not what someone else's version of that goal is, not what you think people want to hear. Picture yourself in the future and you've achieved it. You know, why shouldn't it be you that succeeds? Why shouldn't it be you that takes that next level? Why shouldn't it be you that gets the result that is mind-blowing, that is life-changing? I'm going to get you there.